Winchester, Virginia, September 8th, 1932. Virginia Patterson Hensley is born. At the time, her mother, Hilda, was just 16 years old. Her dad, Samuel, he was 43. He was a blacksmith who often had trouble finding steady work during a tumultuous time we now call the Great Depression. Her father sexually abused her, but she wouldn't tell anyone about this until she was an adult. Due to her father having trouble finding work, Virginia moved around a lot. Growing up, her friends called her Jenny. When she was 13, Virginia got severely sick and almost died. She got a throat infection so bad that she had to be kept in an oxygen tent at a hospital. She later said about the experience, quote, "You might say it was my return to the living after several days that launched me as a singer. When I recovered, I had this booming voice like Kate Smith's." Yeah, that's Kate Smith, the first lady of radio, a popular singer, especially during World War II. Anyway, after this, Virginia got more into music and began singing with her mom in a local Baptist choir. She even taught herself how to play piano and guitar. By the time she was 14, she was determined to become a professional country musician. She began auditioning at local radio stations, and her fearlessness consistently impressed disc jockeys. She tried out for talent contests and began performing with local country bands. By the time she was 15, her dad had deserted the family, and Virginia had to put her music ambitions on pause to support her mother and her two younger siblings. She quit high school and began working full-time, at one point working at a soda shop and at a poultry factory as a butcher, believe it or not. Over the next few years, the family lived in this house in Winchester, which you could still visit today. Virginia never gave up on her dreams of being a musician, though. In fact, she wrote a letter to the legendary country music radio show, the Grand Ole Opry, asking for an audition. Well, she never heard back. However, she was able to convince security to let her backstage at a local Wally Fowler concert, and she asked him for an audition. Fowler, a popular gospel singer, was indeed impressed with Virginia's singing, and through his connections, he was able to arrange an audition for Virginia at, you guessed it, the Grand Ole Opry. Despite having very little money, Virginia's mom agreed to drive her 8 hours to Nashville, Tennessee for the audition, sleeping the night before in their car. According to multiple accounts, the audition went well, but sadly, Virginia never heard back from them. But again, Virginia was determined, continuing to perform and audition any chance she got. By the time she was 20, she was no longer performing as Virginia. She was now Patsy, perhaps as a way to honor one of her favorite performers, Patsy Montana, but also as a variation of her middle name, Patterson. Soon she caught the attention of a country band leader named Bill Peer. He was so impressed with Patsy that he asked her to join his band. By golly, she said yes. Meanwhile, Patsy also said yes to Gerald Cline when he asked her to marry him. They had met at one of Patsy's shows. Actually, they got married on March 7th, 1953. Gerald may have fallen in love with Patsy, but apparently Patsy never fell in love with him, unfortunately. Regardless, they'd stay married for 4 years. And, yeah, that's why we now know her as Patsy Cline. But, you knew that already though, didn't you? You smart cookie. Instead of having kids, Patsy kept busy with music. In August 1953, she won $100 at the National Country Music Championships, the equivalent of nearly $1,200 in today's money, and due to this, got to be a regular performer on Connie Gay's TV show, Town and Country. She definitely stood out on that show. While most of the singers on it stood motionless while they sang, Patsy moved around a lot and sang with passion and emotion. Soon, Patsy got the attention of Bill McCall, the president of 4 Star Records, who signed her to a 2-year recording contract. Unfortunately, McCall swindled her. The contract left barely any royalties for Patsy. Regardless, at least she finally got to record some stuff, first doing so in January 1955. 4 Star Records leased the recordings to the much bigger Decca Records. Decca released Patsy's first single, hospital, a church, a courtroom, then goodbye on July 20th, 1955. And just before its release, guess who finally got in touch with Patsy? Yep, by golly, it was the Grand Ole Opry. She first performed for the show on July 1st, 1955. Four Star Records would go on to release 3 more singles by Patsy Cline in the coming months, but none of them became hits. That's okay, they kept letting her on TV. In January 1956, Patsy performed on an episode of Ozark Jubilee. She'd go on to appear on the show 15 more times. Later that year, Patsy's mom, Hilda, who again was just 16 years older than Patsy, mind you, pretended to be a talent scout to get her daughter on the popular show Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts. The show's rules said family members could not be scouts, so yep, Hilda lied to get her daughter on the show. It wouldn't air until January 21st, 1957, but when it did, it made a splash. Patsy won the show's contest after her stunning performance of the song Walkin' After Midnight. This was the big break she needed. Decca Records rushed to release the song as a single for her, getting it out on February 11th, 1957. The song would soon be Patsy's first big hit, peaking at number 2 on the Billboard Hot Country and Western Sides chart. Heck, it even made it up to number 12 on the Billboard Pop Music chart. It was pretty rare at the time for a country song to make it on the pop charts, man. Decca released her self-titled debut studio album on August 5th, 1957. It featured not only honky-tonk and country songs, but also some rockabilly stuff. A few months before the Talent Scouts show, Patsy met Charlie Dick at one of her local shows. They would get married on September 15th, 1957, eventually having 2 children together. As seen in the movie Sweet Dreams, they apparently had a crazy relationship, but it was obvious that the two were legit in love. They moved to Fayetteville, North Carolina after Charlie got a job at Fort Bragg, but she actually wasn't in Fayetteville all that much. You see, Patsy now found herself constantly on the road, touring, and in high demand. She also recorded a bunch, yet struggled to get another hit song. After Walkin' After Midnight, Patsy released 12 straight singles that all flopped. Not only that, she wasn't even making that much money from her music due to being exploited by bad contracts. Due to this, she took matters into her own hands. She moved the family to Nashville, Tennessee in 1959 and hired a dude named Randy Hughes to be her new manager. Hughes got her a new, much better paying deal directly with Decca Records. She now was a regular performer for the Grand Ole Opry and recorded some new stuff with legendary producer Owen Bradley, who brought in an orchestra and the Jordanaires as background singers. Even though Patsy thought the song wasn't country enough, she agreed to record a song called I Fall to Pieces, written by Hank Cochran and Harlan Howard. Well, I'd say it was a good decision. Released on January 30th, 1961, the single eventually made it to the top of the country charts. Today, the song is considered a classic that demonstrated her powerful voice, and it was another crossover hit, meaning it was appealing to folks who normally didn't listen to country music. Just as Patsy Cline was becoming a big star, she nearly died for the second time in a horrible car accident on June 15th, 1961. Her brother Sam was driving when another car struck them head on. The impact broke her wrist, dislocated her hip, and gave her severe facial injuries. After surgery, she spent a month recovering in the hospital. During this time, Charlie had become a big fan of a rising young country star named Willie Nelson. After getting to meet Willie, Charlie heard a demo of his song, Crazy. He then convinced Patsy to record it, and indeed, that was the first song she recorded after recovering from the car accident. Decca released Patsy's rendition of Crazy on October 16th, 1961. After her version of Crazy topped the charts, it also helped launch Willie Willie's career. Today, Crazy is easily Patsy Cline's most recognizable song, as evidenced by the fact that it's her most streamed song on Spotify. On November 27th, 1961, Decca released Patsy's second studio album, Showcase. Around that time, Hank Cochran called up Patsy to tell her he had another new song he'd written that he thought she'd like. Oh, she liked it all right. That song was She's Got You, which not only got to #1 on the Billboard Hot Country and Western Sides chart, but also got up to #3 on the Billboard Easy Listening chart, and even got radio airplay in the United Kingdom. In 1962, Patsy became an even bigger star with 2 more big hits, When I Get Through With You and So Wrong. On August 6th of that year, Decca released Patsy's third and final studio album, Sentimentally Yours. In addition to the aforementioned She's Got You, Sentimentally Yours featured the singles Strange and Heartaches. That summer, Patsy became the first female country artist to headline her own show in Las Vegas, spending over a month there doing so. That year, Patsy bought a big house just outside Nashville and would regularly have friends over to visit. One of those friends, the legendary Loretta Lynn. Another was the also legendary Dottie West. Both Lynn and West would later describe Patsy as a mentor as they tried to find their way as young country singers. Strangely, Patsy had told both Loretta and Dottie that she thought she would die soon. In February 1963, Patsy recorded some new songs before hitting the road again. On March 3rd, she sang at a benefit concert at Memorial Hall in Kansas City, Kansas. It would be her last performance. 2 days later, she rode in a plane with her manager Randy and fellow country singers Cowboy Copas and Hawkshaw Hawkins. Randy was the pilot and lost control of the small plane they were flying in during low visibility conditions. The plane crashed in a remote area near Camden, Tennessee, immediately killing all 4 of them. Patsy was just 30 years old. Thousands attended her funeral, and she was buried in her hometown of Winchester, Virginia. Just 50 songs. That's all Patsy Cline recorded during her short career, but her impact was huge. In the years following her death, she became more and more influential, especially paving the way for young female singers around the world. Decca Records and later MCA Records would sell millions of copies of her compilation albums, making her way more popular than she ever was when she was alive. In 1973, Patsy became the first female solo performer ever inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. Not once, but twice has Patsy been portrayed in major Hollywood films. The Loretta Lynn biopic Coal Miner's Daughter, released in 1980, and her own biopic, the aforementioned Sweet Dreams, released in 1985. There have also been several documentaries and stage shows about her, and of course the 1988 musical, Always, Patsy Cline. By the time her greatest hits album came out in 2003, she was so popular that it would go on to sell more than 10 million copies. It's been 62 years now since her death, but today, Patsy's huge influence on not just country music, but all pop music can still be felt. She was a pioneer who paved her own path to success, working her butt off, and inspiring so many future young female singers. She was a true crossover artist, arguably helping popularize country music to mainstream audiences more than any other singer. Even though her professional career lasted just less than 7 years, Patsy Cline is today considered one of the greatest singers of all time. And how lucky are we that those 50 songs got recorded so that we can continue to hear her powerful voice for many years to come. Ah yes, I think this was a true history lesson for many of you since Patsy Cline has been gone for so long now. I'd be surprised if this video does well, but I don't care, it's okay. The youngins need to know. But to you other young folks out there, what's your favorite Patsy Cline song? Also, the dog you've been looking at on the screen is our beloved dog, Patsy, named after Patsy Cline, as a matter of fact, no joke. And my favorite dog ever, Patsy, we love you very much.